So you today, as President Mahama, you are the future today, and you are the present today and the future tomorrow. Your leadership this time round would determine whether the majority political parties are going to have a say in next coming, or we are going to run back to a military regime. If you perform well, Ghana will move on with democracy. If you don't, then military will rather come in and say, look, we don't even trust these political parties anymore. The NDC against the MPP, you saw what happened. Majority of the NDC people did not come out, and the MPP people did not come out, and NDC won. In 2016, it repeated itself again. Majority of the NDC people did not come out, and then MPP won. Today, 2024, history has repeated itself again. What it means is that there has been some break between leadership and grassroots over the period, every party. And we have to take this clue, this example, and this precedence to know that the 2024 elections was not won just by the campaign of the NDC alone, but by the displeasure of many Ghanaians who did not see leadership from the MPP. And they have given the NDC a new life. So you today, as President Mahama, you are the future today, and you are the present today and the future tomorrow. Your leadership this time round would determine whether the majority political parties are going to have a say in next coming, or we are going to run back to a military regime. If you perform well, Ghana will move on with democracy. If you don't, then military will rather come in and say, look, we don't even trust these political parties anymore. Because if you look at the election this time, the voter apathy has gone up. Huge. Huge. Many Ghanaians didn't want to vote again. They are not interested in politics anymore. And I said one thing in the middle of my campaign. I said the election is going to be determined by two factors. Factor number one, the die-hard members of NDC against the die-hard members of NPP. And whichever party comes out with the majority will win. And factor number two, Ghanaians deciding that they want a third force. And so we are not going to vote for NDC and MPP, and we'll go to a second round and elect a new leader. But the first one came. So for me to you, Mr. President, is that we are all in your hands. Ghanaians are going to watch you your first 3 months. Your first 3 months will determine the future of this country. How you run your first 3 months will be what Ghanaians will be looking up to see whether there will be a change in anything or there won't be a change at all. So mine is for you to concentrate first on your first 3 months. Very key. What policy alternatives are you bringing to convince Ghanaians in your first 3 months? And secondly, I will also advise that from now to your first 3 months, that at least Ghanaians need a change of mindset. They want to see a leader they can follow, they can relate with, they listen to, a leader that is transparent, sincere, and honest. If you look at the current government, you realize that they've stopped the State of the Nation address. They don't even talk about the State of the Nation address anymore. So if you can concentrate on that for the first 3 months, that at least every month you come out to tell Ghanaians the state of the nation and what you intend to do for the next 3 months. So this month you come out and tell us, this is where we are, this is where we need to get to. This will allow Ghanaians to have hope and trust and confidence in your leadership. And when they do, I'm sure you will carry the future, the present and the future.
Thank you very much for this visit. I remember fondly our interaction with you, and I think that it was a very good meeting. It helped us to fine-tune and tweak some of the things that we had intended to put in our manifesto, and I do think that we captured a lot of the nuances that we picked from that meeting. I want to sympathize with you for the last 8 years. I mean, things have not really gone the way we would have expected. Ghana which was easily the best destination for investment, suddenly has become, not actually the best anymore, but we've dropped several paces down. I mean, anybody wanting to come and set up a business would rather go to Benin or Cote d'Ivoire than come to Ghana today, and it's a call for us to act and bring our nation back as the favorite destination for investment. You can tell from FDI figures, they've dropped sharply to 1 point something billion. We're hardly able to attain a little above 1 billion. And when we used to get 3.5 billion, easy FDI into the country every year. And so it's not only foreign direct investment that is suffering, but indigenous Ghanaian businesses are also suffering. I think that this government made many critical mistakes, and many of them, I'll say, were parochial, because if they had allowed a little more transparency and had opened a more listening ear, they probably would not have made some of the fatal mistakes that they made. And so that serves as a lesson to the incoming government to make sure that we have an open ear and a transparent manner of approaching things, so that we can carry everybody along with us. And so it's something that I promised before, that we will consult with the captains of industry and business regularly, so that we know what your concerns are, and then we'll address those concerns together. If I were president, I would not have rushed to close those, indigenous banks. I would have found a way of assisting them to survive. We probably would not have borrowed as rapidly as was done and sink ourselves into a debt hole. And so, but these are mistakes that have been made, that we must use as lessons, for the future. And so we intend to carry out some reforms in terms of economic management to ensure that another finance minister doesn't come along who's a law unto himself and does some of the things that this person has done to create the problem that we have. One would be the debt management office. Upgrade the debt management office to a more independent office that is transparent, that is informing Ghanaians about what our debt position is at any time, so that the finance minister on his own cannot just keep piling on the debts without, like there's no tomorrow. So that's one. Holding